Hi, I'm Mitch Malloy, and I first discovered music, I think, as a baby. It wasn't really my discovery, but I was the youngest of 6 kids. My mom and dad loved music, and obviously my siblings loved music. So I think my mom tells me that I was dancing around before I could walk to the Beatles. In diapers, was what she said. You were dancing in diapers. I was just always extremely drawn to music, growing up. I started singing solos in public when I was 6 and got a lot of attention doing it. And when you're 6, getting attention is really cool. And I formed my first band when I was 12. I started playing guitar, formed a band, decided I was going to be a rock star when I was 12. Influences were Aerosmith, Cheap Trick, ZZ Top, Van Halen, Heart. First concert I ever saw was Heart Little Queen in Fargo, North Dakota. And that changed my life. Ann Wilson is a huge influence. Love her to this day. Hearing her voice to this day still really gets me. And then just all the classic rock stuff. Bad Company, Queen was a huge one. All the great classic rock of the 70s is my influence. I went to music school right out of high school in Seattle, Washington, went back to North Dakota where I'm from, and then went to New York. And after a few years, I was discovered first by a major management company and then by RCA Records. I got to New York in 1981. And I was just a kid from North Dakota who knew nothing about the music business. No clue. I just knew that I needed to make a living. There's a huge club scene, really vibrant club scene in New York and New Jersey at the time. And I started going out to see bands and trying to find a spot where I could fit in. Like this band, maybe this band could use me, or this band could use me, or something like that. And I did find one, and they invited me up to sing. And then I went out to see them again, and they invited me up to sing again, and then again, and then again. And after the 3rd time, they invited me to be in the band. So it was just a cover band, but it was one of those big business cover bands that used to go at the time. And I did that for a couple of years because I needed to make some money, and then I quit doing that, and I starved for a while because I knew I needed to work on my art. And I just starved and lived off my girlfriend's groceries and wrote songs and formed my own band. It was called Malloy. Got a major management company, Loud and Proud Management, out of Brooklyn, White Lions Management. And the plan was for them, for me to play the New York circuit. They said it might take 2 years, and it took about 1.5 years, and the label started coming after me. And we had A&M and RCA offering me deals, and the RCA deal was a better, sweeter deal, so we went with RCA. RCA was really excited about me, and I was a priority act. And they left me alone in the studio. My producer was Sir Arthur Payson, and I got to kind of pick and choose with him who was going to play on the record. And I'd written probably 100 songs for that record, so we chose the best 10. And we did it. We did it in LA, and it was a blast. It was in the days where you spent $350,000 on a record, which is what we spent. And the label was super excited about the record. They loved the record, and they put me out on a radio tour, and I went to 300 radio stations in 1992. And then they sent me to Europe. I did the whole Europe promotion tour, Germany, and I went all over Sweden. And it was really a really exciting time. I really had the big shot, right? But the timing was terrible because it was an MTV-driven music business at the time, and I was flying up the charts. I was all over the radio. I was the number 2 most added artist when I came out of the box, and you could only get so high on radio, and I got into the 20s, before MTV had to kick in, and then radio would wait. And if MTV didn't kick in, you couldn't get beyond the 20s. That's how it worked. Because radio was following MTV, absolutely no doubt. I mean, they would even ask about MTV. So what's MTV gonna do, you know? So we did as good as we could without MTV, but we never got MTV because MTV that year decided that I was not what they wanted to do in the future. They wanted to do Nirvana in the future. So Nirvana went forward, and I didn't. What happened in 1996, Van Halen called, and there was a real fantastic shot there to replace Sammy Hagar, which is what they wanted. And it didn't end up working out, but this documentary company did a documentary about it. It's called Mitch Malloy, Van Halen's Lost Boy. Van Halen asked me to come in, and I did, and I sang with the band. The first thing we did is I sang with the band, and they really liked that. Eddie said amazing things that I probably shouldn't repeat because I'll sound like an ass if I do, but really complimentary, nice things. He was obviously very excited, and as I was. And then they were going to do an MTV Awards presentation, and they went and did that. And they did it with Dave, but they didn't tell me they were going to do it with Dave. I didn't know, I mean, it's really, they don't have to tell me, they didn't have to tell me anything. They're Van Halen. It's just some kid. So, whatever. I mean, that's what happened. But when that happened, it was very apparent to me that everybody in the world wanted Dave back in the band, and I wanted Dave back in the band too, quite frankly, because I'm a huge fan. And so I thought this is probably not going to work out, and told them so, and they went with Gary Schrum. But I still got a big shot, and I'm still all over the radio, and here I am at M3 now. It's like I'm getting a chance to come back, which is really, I feel lucky and fortunate.